So we have recently hit 20,000 subscribers on this channel. I want to start off by sincerely thanking you all for watching my videos, my unhinged little side quests. It genuinely means a lot to me that this many people are watching my videos even though I can't fully conceptualize that number. I wanted to do a little thank you for 20k special video, and while I was thinking about what to do for that, I was looking back on the videos that I love doing the most. The Twilight ranking video was definitely one of them, and I also really loved psychoanalyzing Bella Swan based on her taste in movies, so I thought, why stop there? I'm sure there's more unhinged content that I could mine in the Twilight and Twilight adjacent realm. Then I remembered a certain unhinged endeavor of Robert Pattinson's back in quarantine in 2020. So today we are going to explore Robert Pattinson's unhinged pasta dish, piccolini cuscino.
So, funny thing, when I decided to make this video, I was like, alright, I'm gonna have to pronounce this right and not call it piccolini cuscino. So I pulled up this one website for the pronunciation and it said piccolini cuscino, and I've since learned from countless other videos that's piccolini cuscino. So I'm going to proceed to pronounce this dish wrong for the rest of the video. So, if you're Italian, I'm sorry, bro. Anyway.
We must first go back to when this all started in 2020, where Robert Pattinson did a GQ interview where his whole process is detailed. So the interviewer starts by saying, Pattinson decides to cook for me, or cook in front of me anyway. FaceTiming, we agreed, was hard, exhausting. We were a little sick of looking at each other. But what can two men do together when they're on different continents and different time zones? Pattinson thought, cooking. He was just feeling a little loca. And then Robert proceeds to talk about how he had this business idea. He said that he thought to himself, what if pasta really had the same kind of fast food credentials as burgers and pizzas? I was trying to figure out how to capitalize in this area of the market, and I was trying to think, how do you make a pasta which you can hold in your hand? Ah yes, this is the kind of real world problems that we need solutions to. He said that he designed a prototype involving a panini press, and then he said that he went so far as to set up a meeting with Los Angeles restaurant royalty Lele Massimini, the co-founder of Sugarfish and Duovo. Now, I didn't know who this person was at first because I am simply not in that tax bracket. However, apparently Sugarfish and Duovo are these bougie restaurants in SoCal. Robert was then like, hold on tight, Spider Monkey, because I have an idea for you. He said, I told him my business plan and his facial expression didn't even change afterwards, let alone acknowledge what my plan was. There was absolutely no sign of anything from him, literally, and so it kind of put me off a bit. And the greatest part about this is when Lele Massimini was asked about this exchange between him and Robert Pattinson, all he said was, it's 100% true. Everything he told you. He really had no words. And he also confirmed that Robert Pattinson was not lying about all of this because he's lied about a lot of things. But this did not stop Robert. Nevertheless, he persisted. He created the name Piccolini Cuscino, which apparently means little pillow in Italian. So then the GQ interviewer says he thought he'd give the product another go, with me now. And then quoted Robert saying, maybe if I say it in GQ, maybe, like, a partner will just come along. So then Robert goes through the list of ingredients for Piccolini Cuscino, and these are direct quotes. One giant filthy dust-covered box of cornflakes. He said, I went to the shop and they didn't sell breadcrumbs. I'm like, oh, it, I'm just getting cornflakes. That's basically the same shit. One incredibly large novelty lighter. He said, I always like the idea of doing a little flambe, like the brand name with kind of burnt ends at the top. 9 packs of pre-sliced cheese. 9 packs of pre-sliced cheese. Then sauce, and the interviewer says, like tomato sauce, and then Robert responds, just any sauce. Some sugar, pasta, and a burger bun. So then he puts on latex gloves, and then he takes the sugar and aluminum foil and he makes a sort of hollowed out sphere with the aluminum foil, and then he just dumps the sugar onto there. And then Robert says, alright, so obviously first things first, you gotta microwave the pasta. So then he puts the pasta in a bowl of water and then he microwaves it. He then says that he's using penne pasta and that's new territory for him. He said that he usually uses pasta that's like a little, it's like a blob, a sort of squiggly blob. So the interviewer is like, do you mean gnocchi? And Robert's like, no, it looks like the hair bun on a girl. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that it was probably angel hair pasta, but I don't know. All Robert said was, there was one type of pasta that worked. It definitely wasn't penne. So as the pasta is in the microwave, Robert is just dumping sugar and cheese onto the aluminum foil bed. He said, I found after a lot of experimentation that you really just need to congeal everything in an enormous amount of sugar and cheese. So then he just begins layering sugar and cheese on top of each other in the aluminum foil bed, and also claims that it needs a sugar crust. But he forgot about the breadcrumb / cornflakes, so he takes the glob of sugar and cheese and lifts it, puts the cornflakes on the bed of the aluminum foil and then plops the blob down. So far, piccolini cuscino is just a clusterfuck of cornflakes, sugar, and cheese. And then he dumps sauce on top. Now at this point, the pasta is done in the microwave, so then Robert burns himself trying to take it out of the microwave. Then he looks at it, he sighs, and then he says, no idea if it's cooked or not. But alas, he dumps the pasta onto the aluminum foil cluster anyway, and then he says, I mean, there's absolutely no chance that this is gonna work. Absolutely none. So one would think that the last step is just putting the burger bun on top, but no. Robert dumps more sugar onto the top, then puts the top half of the burger bun on there, and then proceeds to burn the top bun with a lighter. The interviewer literally says, you look like you're cooking meth, and I believe it. Robert responds, I'm really trying to sell this company. I'm doing this for my brand. As he's doing this though, he accidentally lights one of his latex gloves on fire and then it melts into his palm. Then he yelps in pain and then holds up the piccolini cuscino with the letters PC burned into the top bun. So I bet you're wondering, what now? All the ingredients have been assembled. Robert wraps the whole thing in the aluminum foil and then proceeds to ask the interviewer if you can put aluminum foil in the oven. So the interviewer, who is grasping at the last sliver of his own sanity, says yes, you can, but do not put it in a microwave. Because Cooking 101 kids, do not put aluminum foil in a microwave. So Robert's like, oh cool, and then he proceeds to look for his oven, which he's never used before. And he's rich, right? So he has many options, and then Robert chooses one, and then the interviewer proceeds to say, sir, that is a microwave. But Robert's like, no, it's not. So he puts the piccolini cuscino in the microwave. He says, I reckon probably 10 minutes, and then proceeds to struggle with the microwave. Then he said, I actually knew how to do this before. I literally did this yesterday, and now it's just impossible. It's going to look like I can't cook at all. So then according to the interviewer, he just starts pressing buttons. Meanwhile, the interviewer is like, are you sure that isn't a goddamn microwave? And Robert's like, no, it's not. So the microwave is on, Robert Pattinson turns back around, and then according to the interviewer, a lightning bolt had erupted from the microwave, and then Robert Pattinson ducked as if someone outside had opened fire. Robert was apparently giggling and crouching as his microwave was literally blowing up. Then the microwave goes dark, and the interviewer and Robert just stare in silence until Robert goes, yeah, I think I have to leave that alone, but that is piccolini cuscino. And just like, what an experience, what a journey. Imagine being an interviewer, like a committed entertainment journalist, and this is one of your days on the job. And Robert said that he was serious about this too. Like in a more recent GQ interview, he said, I was actually fully trying to make that pasta. Like I was literally in talks with frozen food factories and hoped that article would be the proof of concept. My manager was like, is this really what you want to do? You want your face on handheld pasta? You know you've got to go to Walmart and really sell it for potentially very little return. And then there's a part of me that was like, is there a world where this works? First of all, I don't know whether I believe him. Like I genuinely don't know if this is entirely for real or not, but I want to find out if there's a world where this works. So I'm gonna make it.
Alright, it's time for me to do a voiceover since I don't have the best microphone for recording and cooking at the same time. So I've got all my ingredients here. I didn't have breadcrumbs, so I made breadcrumbs. It's actually pretty easy, but here they are. I've got sugar, I've got sliced cheese, I've got penne pasta, I've got sauce. I'm using this Rouse spicy marinara and it's so good, so I'm really giving top-notch quality ingredients over here. And I didn't have a burger bun, nor did I want to spend money, so we're going to use the top bun of a ciabatta roll. I've also got aluminum foil, a lighter, and both a microwave and an oven that I know how to operate. So first we're going to microwave cook the pasta. I think this will need a little bit more time than 8 minutes, but honestly I think we just need to stick to Robert's recipe as much as possible to get the full experience of piccolini cuscino. So 8 minutes it is. Now I'll make the foil bed. I guess this is it. Then put some breadcrumbs. Some sugar, a slice of cheese, and now apparently we just gotta layer it with sugar and cheese, I guess, but groceries are expensive in this economy, so I'm just gonna do 2 layers. Now I have to add sauce, a little bit more sugar apparently for the quote-unquote crust, and I guess now I gotta burn the initials PC into the bread. Let's hope I don't burn down my kitchen. Can I blame Robert Pattinson if I burn down my kitchen? Also, now that I'm recording this voiceover and watching the footage back, it's really stressing me out watching me hold the bread with a lighter. Anyway, I tried to do this over and over again and it just wasn't working, and it started to smell like burnt gluten, so I just gave up. So now we have just lightly toasted ciabatta. And this is the point where Robert wrapped the foil and then put it in the microwave. I'm not doing that because I'd like to still have my kitchen by the end of this, so I'm going to bake this absolutely atrocious, chaotic, and unhinged concoction in the oven, so that's going to go at 400 degrees for 10 minutes.
So while we wait for the piccolini to cuscino in the oven, I thought this would be a great time to talk about Robert Pattinson's best moments. Starting off with a bang, he said on live TV like 15 years ago that he saw a clown explode as a child attending the circus. A week later, a German journalist followed up with him about that, and apparently he was lying. He also said he would turn to porn if the Batman didn't do well. Thankfully, we will not see that day. He also got his stalker to stop stalking him by going on a date with her. He said, I had a stalker while filming a movie in Spain.
She stood outside of my apartment every day for weeks, all day, every day. I was so bored and lonely that I went out and had dinner with her. I just complained about everything in my life and she never came back. People get bored of me in like 2 minutes. Whatever works, I guess. The thing is, he could very well be lying about this too, but also this sounds like something that would actually happen with him. For his GQ cover interview, he elected to go on a quest for a hot dog, basically do the easiest thing you can possibly do in New York City. Then he said that given the opportunity to direct, he would have snuck a walrus onto a sex scene in Breaking Dawn. He specifically said, "I'd say, listen, I've got to have a closed set. It's really, really important. No one can see the monitors or anything, and then just put like a walrus in or something." Great. Awesome. He told Extra that he didn't really see the point in washing your hair back in 2009 and that was just for jokes. He says he also smells like a crayon. According to the cut, he said, "Lots of people tell me I smell like a crayon," then went on to agree and say, "I smell like I'm made of wax, like I'm embalmed." Why? Why does he smell like crayons? Some other lies he's told are that he used to be a hand model, that he was a drug dealer in high school who imported substances in floppy disks, that he was expelled from school for peddling porn, that he's a fake furniture designer who makes tiny chairs out of clay, takes pictures of them, and then sends them to a designer he knows who helps build them. Now she's out of the oven. She looks beautiful. I guess I have to just dump the pasta on here, I guess, and also just stick the bread on top. And then I'm supposed to flip it and plate it. Oh, all right. And there she is.
This is girl dinner. Okay, so I wasn't sure I was gonna eat this, but then I remembered that Robert Pattinson made this dish with the intention of being able to hold pasta and eat it, so I assume I hold this and eat it. It's already falling apart, but I'm gonna try and take my first bite.
One eternity later.
Why is it kind of good? It's kind of good. I think it could do without the sugar, but it's kind of good. Like, I'm not gonna keep eating this, but honestly I was expecting so much worse. Like, the pasta, the breadcrumbs, cheese, and the sauce, and the bread, it goes well together. It's just like the sugar, the copious amount of sugar that throws my mouth off. You know what, I don't think this is, good enough for anyone to partner with Robert over this, but like, I respect this endeavor. I respect it. My mouth is so confused though. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for 20,000. I appreciate it so much. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos.